What's up? It's your boy RJ. I want to get in a little bit in on this NFL debate with the Rooney Rule and why black coaches is not getting hired. But before I give you my opinion, check out what StephenASmith, Marcus Spears, and Shannon Sharp had to say about it. I'll be back.
Length of this deal, the commitment that Carolina is making to Matt Rule.
So I like the idea of making long-term commitments to coaches because it incentivizes them to make the best decisions for the franchise in the long term, not necessarily try to load up so that you can get a contract extension and win 9 or 10 games in a particular season. So I like that idea. But I mean, it's hard for us to talk about these two hires without bringing up the elephant in the room, is that race plays a big part in this. You don't see black coaches getting just pulled out of nowhere the same way Joe Judge was. And I think one of the quotes, I don't know if we have it up, but one of the quotes that David Tepper made about this hire makes it clear to me one of the problems. The issue, in my view, is not necessarily that these owners or David Tepper specifically is like a raging racist or anything. The idea is that we're humans, and all humans have unconscious biases. And David Tepper had a quote where he specifically said, "I saw a lot of myself in him. He looks like me. He's a slob like me. He was a line cook like me." And that's the problem, is that we're comfortable selecting people and working with people who look like us and make us feel comfortable. And that's one of the kind of glass ceilings, so to speak. And I think last year, a lot of people were saying there aren't a lot of black coaches in the pipeline. What pipeline? You just pulled Joe Judge out of nowhere. He wasn't in anybody's pipeline. And a guy like Eric Bieniemy has to be a bit demoralized. Leslie Frazier, guys who have had this type of success and you would expect to at least get some realistic consideration, aren't getting it.
GMs of color in these opportunities.
Yeah, I think Chris Greer is the only one that we have right now down in Miami. And I think that then you get in a position where they are more comfortable with people who look like them. And I just think we need to be aware of our own personal biases in football and beyond, frankly. And I think pretending that we don't have any biases is probably the biggest problem. And I think that happens a lot when you assume like all the success you had is because of your hard work, and you just need to find someone else who's working as hard. And the reason why other people aren't having success is because they aren't working as hard and not acknowledging that there are other systematic things in place to inhibit them. And if you're in power, it's your responsibility, not just our hope, but it's your responsibility to try to remove those things that are blocking those obstacles.
And we look at this, and as black men and in our community, because we hear about it on social media and we get inundated with direct messages and tweets about y'all need to stand up for black and African American coaches in the position that we're in. And we have this conversation with guys like yourself, Greeny, and Dan G, and a lot of white guys here at ESPN and around. And you guys are asking the same questions too, and trying to understand what this is. But the bottom line is this: African American coaches are in a system that reminds us a lot of Jim Crow, reminds us a lot of the civil rights era in this country, where you say to yourself, where if they're qualified, if they have experience, if guys are vouching for them, if they've done a good job and earned the possibility to be a head coach and earn the right, because no one is asking for anybody to give them anything, why are there only 3 of them?
There is a Rooney Rule in place, and still this kind of stuff is happening. I want to announce on national television that I personally am going to take it upon myself, whether it's to communicate with the NFL league office, whether it's to communicate with owners, whether it's to sit up here and raise holy hell, whether it's to recruit my contemporaries in this business to address it. We got a problem. This is some BS. Ain't no way around this. We moving in a reverse direction. We moving in a reverse direction. Black men are not being treated fairly in the National Football League. Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it. You got to be kidding me. When the stuff that has happened over the last year, for this stuff to go on and we just gonna sit up here and have a sports conversation. No, I ain't having no damn sports conversation at this particular moment. Something wrong. Now, the National Football League or somebody else, we got to change this Rooney Rule. Is bogus, clearly, because it's being bypassed. The original intent, what it was intended to produce, is being circumvented. And black men in the National Football League are being ostracized from key positions in the National Football League. Somebody needs to say it. The NFL, league owners, the world of sports, sports talk television, sports radio, y'all are going to be hearing from me. Something got to be done. Something got to be done
to this.
I believe there's some merit to it, Skip. I think the spirit of the Rooney Rule is in the right place, Skip. At least give them minorities, black, people of color, Hispanic. Ron Rivera is of Hispanic descent. Give them an opportunity to get their foot in the door, because before they were not even getting their foot in the door. And if I'm not mistaken, Skip, I think the Rooney Rule was implemented 02, 03, something of that nature. For right now, there's 32 NFL head coaches, just 4 are minorities. That's the fewest in the last 16 years. The thing that's going to have to change, Skip, the people that do the hiring.
Yep.
There's one of the 32 general managers, there's one of color. That's Chris Greer in Miami. The 32 owners, there's none of color. So until you get someone, because there's going to be familiarity, Skip. It's going to be somebody I'm familiar with, I know. And I know it sounds, cliche as a shame. And I agree with Mike Freeman said that someone because sometimes I believe it's just, okay, let me just check the box to say I did have one in here, having no intentions of hiring him. But until you get more African-American or minorities of color in the general manager position, and until we can get Robert Smith and Oprah and Jay-Z to buy a club, Skip, how do you tell a man that's worth $10 billion who the hell to hire? I mean, I get it, but Jerry Jones is going to hire who he's comfortable with. Shad Khan and all these owners, they're going to hire who they're comfortable with. Skip, I'm sorry. I wish I can give you a better explanation. But it comes down to that's what it is. They're going to hire somebody that they're comfortable with. And guys are not getting in the position that they can have influence. They're one general manager.
So quick question.
Yes.
Why do so many white NBA owners hire men of color to coach their basketball teams, which they might or might not be socially comfortable with?
Skip, I have no idea. But if you look at it, Skip, you look at how many the NBA is like predominantly African Americans, and they have a lot of black coaches. But if you look at the entertainment, you look at the entertainment at the All-Star game for NBA, and look at the entertainment for the Super Bowl.
I know.
It's totally different.
You got me.
And the thing is, Skip, and I'm like, hold on. How you gonna have 70% African Americans play the game, but 10%, 5% coaching?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that picture, Skip? It's just that maybe the NBA owners are more forward thinking. Maybe the players have more power. I don't know what it is, Skip, but there's something, 4 of 32. That's 8%? My math correct? 12%. But Skip, until that changes, because I just don't know how you tell a billionaire who he should and shouldn't hire.
You are correct.
As you can see, it's a wide range of opinions on this. As you can see, I'm at the gig. Work vibes. But anyway, my opinion is this. But first, let me get to the whole Eric Bieniemy situation. I believe he's not getting the job simply because his head coach Andy Reid literally is coming out with the biggest play calling sheet ever every game. And the camera crews and everybody, they're going to put the head coach up. So when people see Andy Reid every Sunday, they see him with a play sheet. So they really looking at it as if Andy Reid is calling the play and not Eric. And that's the crazy thing. I think in his situation, it's really Andy Reid that's holding him back. Andy Reid needs to leave the play calling sheet in the locker room and just let Eric take over and just do his thing. But clearly, Andy don't know how to let go, and that's hindering Eric's abilities to get a job, in my opinion. But as far as other coaches, I think it is wrong that they don't have more black coaches. I think it's a lot of coaches that are qualified. Hell, it's a lot of ex-NFL players that are qualified, but I understand that they got them as position coaches, and they're not really going straight to coordinators or stuff like that. They're more sticking with position coaches, and I understand that. And on the other hand, you got to understand that these owners don't necessarily have to hire a black coach. Yeah, they can bring him in for an interview to appease the black delegate, but really they don't have to hire him. They really don't. They can bring him in, interview him, and make it look good, but then go get the guy that they want. Go get somebody that they're familiar with. Go get somebody really skin color that they're familiar with, backgrounds that they're familiar with. Like, if they can't relate to you, they really not going to hire you. And I know a lot of people was on New York for the hire of Joe Judge, I believe his name is. He might have came in there with a killer interview. Like, he might have said some things that was just like, damn, we got to hire this guy. He got some good ideas. But again, the black coaches are getting the interviews. The Rooney Rule is working. They might not be getting hired, but they're getting the interviews. They're getting the opportunity to put forth their best effort of what they can bring to the table. What can they do for the organization? What can they do for the players? How can they make the team better? And they're just not getting the jobs. I don't know why, but they just not. I mean, the owners, you really can't, like, if it gets to the point where they just basically, NFL is basically forcing owners to hire black coaches, they're just going to be picking anybody. You really want the best coaches in there. And a lot of black coaches do get raw deals because they go to terrible teams. Like, how am I going to be good if my team that I went to was terrible the year before, and the year before, and the year before that? My thing is, I think that instead of just thinking about the money, I think a lot of the black coaches should think about the situation. And if Eric is the reason, if he's actually choosing not to pick some of these jobs because of the situations, I understand it. Like, if you go in there, you like, I don't know if I'm going to be successful here, don't take it. Do not take it. Go back to Kansas City. Do what you're doing. And you got Mahomes as your quarterback. You can't go wrong with that. Stick with old boy until you find the right situation that's going to better benefit you in the long run. Don't go just pick up a job and then next thing you know, you fired in 2 years. Yeah, you're going to get your money because it's guaranteed, but you're never going to get another opportunity again. So I think if the situation is he's not taking the job because it's not a good situation, then I applaud him for that. But if it's simply because they think Andy Reid is the reason the Chiefs is doing good, that's on Andy Reid. Now, if they just not hiring them because they don't want to, that's their right. As sad as it is, that's their right. But another thing I want to get in is what Marcus Spears said. I think what we should not and what we cannot do is equate everything to Jim Crow. Like, this is not the time. This is not the situation to be like, oh, Jim Crow. That's one race card I just think we shouldn't ever pull when it comes to certain situations. They don't have to hire a black coach. That's just as simple as it is. They can hire whoever they want, just like they don't have to draft the player. It's a privilege to be in the NFL, and they make that obvious every year that it's a privilege with the whole weed thing, but that's a whole another discussion. But as far as the Rooney Rule, I think the essence of it, to get them in there, the building to interview is there. But as far as really getting a job, I don't know what it is. But hopefully more black coaches get hired and they do good jobs. They can go off and win Super Bowls and change the minds of all owners and whoever that think whatever they think. But again, it's your boy RJ back with another debate, opinion, whatever you want to call it. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm gonna try to do at least 2 videos a week. I got time. You see, I'm at work chilling. Not a good thing, but I'm chilling. So I go to my job site. Again, work vibes, debate. I see y'all later. Peace.
One.